My father Stuart has hated me for 17 years now, and I want to be clear up front because this isn't some MS. This is a man who decided when I was 15 that I was a permanent disappointment, and everything's ince has been him proving that point. Tonion, who would listen. Quick background. My brother Edward is 4 years. Growing up, Edward wanted to work at my father's commercial cleaning. He started going to job sites at 14. Learned the business, went to community college, and by 22 he was running crews. My father worshipped him. Edward was the continuation of everything Stuart built. I wanted to be an accountant. Not glamorous, I know, but I liked numbers. I liked the logic. And I didn't want to spend my life scheduling floor waxing crews at 3 o'clock in When I told my father at 15 that I wasn't interested in Thebesness, that I wanted to go to university and get an accounting degree, he told me I was abandoning the family. Those exact words. From that day, I waste example of what happens when a son turns his back on his father's legacy. Every family dinner, every holidayssimo circled back to how Alan was building something while I was chasing. When I got into state university, my father refused to attend graduation. When I passed my CPA exam first try, Mimister Lorraine called to tell me Edward had landed 3 new building contracts and wasn't that wonderful. I'm 32 now. I work for a mid-sized firm. EMOC, decent money, own a small house, have a retirement account. Not rich but stable. And I've spent the last decade watching my family treat me like some cautionary tale. About 5 years ago, something shifted in me. I stopped buying hurt and started being angry, real angry. The kind of angry where you start keeping track of things. I documented every insult, every dig, every public comparison to Edward. Not for legal reasons, but because I wanted to remember exactly what they did. So when the time came, I wouldn't feel guilty about what I was going to do back. 2 weeks ago was Father's Day. I hadn't spoken to my parents since. Rowan, when me mother cornered me at my Aunt Morin's house to tell me I was wasting potential by not joining Alan's property management company. I said I was happy where I was, and she said, happiness wasn't the point. Family was the point, and I was failing at family. I drove home thinking one day they're going to push this too far. One day they'll do some things so public that I'll finally have permission to push back. Father's Day was that day. My neighbor Reginald knocked on my door around noon. He's 73, reads the local paper every morning, and has known me for years. He was holding a newspaper looking like he didn't know what to say. He just handed it to me and said, I should see this before any O'Neills showed me. I opened to the market page, a full-page ad. My father had purchased an entire page in our locale newspaper, circulation 40,000, titled An Apology for Raising Nicholas. Thed listed my annual salary, which member extracted from me at Christmas 2 years ago, claiming she needed it for family financial planning. It listed microdit score. It listed my SAT scores from 15 years ago. It mentioned I had been divorced in my mid-20s at Thebatom in bold. My home address with iPhone wants to see what failure looks like. I stood on my porch reading this, and I didn't feel shocked. I felt confirmed. This was exactly who my father was. He finally put it in writing where everyone could see. Over the next 2 days, I learned the extent. My mother Lorraine purchased 500 copies. She mailed them to extended family, my father's business contacts, people from their church, neighbors from 3 different neighborhoods we lived in. She included handwritten notes explaining they were reaching me with tough love because I had strayed from the family. My brother Edward took one ad, had it professionally framed, and hung it in the lobby of his property man. He added a placard beneath it. Motivation. Don't end up like his employees see that daily. His clients see it walking in. He turned me humiliation into office decor. The final piece came Monday at work. My colleagues were quiet. Not normal quiet, but avoiding eye contact quiet. Miss Supervisor Chester called me into her office before I sat down. Someone mailed a copy directly to the company addressed Ed to her with a handwritten note. Ushold, know who you hired. Chester showed in the envelope. The handwriting was Mithers. I recognized it from 18 years off birthday cards with subtle digs about me life choices. Chester said she had no intention of taking this serious line point-wise. My work spoke for itself, but she wanted me to know. She asked if I needed time off. I asked to photograph the envelope and note for my. She said yes. I went back to my desk and started working on something. Been loosely planning for 5 years. When you're the family scapegoat for 2 decades, you learn things. You learn who's what to whom. You learn which relationships are transactional. You learn what people are afraid of losing. My father's cleaning company has been. Edward's firm is doing bitter, but he has a weakness our father doesn't know about yet. My mother's entire social identity is built on being matriarch of a successful family. And that identity is more fragile than sure. I spent Monday and Tuesday making lists, checking information I'd gathered over years, confirming certain things were still true. Wednesday, E started making moves. Nothing dramatic, nothing giving them warning. Small, methodical steps. Thursday morning, my phone started ringing. My mother ignored me, Father Edward. My father again. My Aunt Morin from an unknown number. By Thursday noon, over 100 red calls. By Friday morning, closer to 300 now, it's Saturday and they've called approximately 400 times combined. I haven't answered once. They thought Thed was the end of something. They thought I would crawl back begging forgiveness or disappear in shame. They didn't expect me to smile reading it. They didn't expect radio silence while earphones blow up with people asking what they were thinking, because hairswat they don't know. I have been waiting for them to go public. I have been hoping they would put their contempt in writing. Now, I have every justification to do what I've been planning for years. I won't tell you exactly what yet, partly because it's still unfolding, but my father's company is on a commercial lease up for renewal in 6 weeks. My brother's firm has clients who owe me and my mother's church position, the thing she values more than her actual children, is built on a family version that doesn't include newspaper ads calling her son a failure. They wanted this public. I'm about to show them what public really means. I'll update soon. For now, I'm letting my phone ring. 417 calls this morning. I saved every voicemail. Update 1. Thank you to everyone who responded. A lot of you asked why I didn't just cut them off years ago. The answer is that cutting them off would have given them exactly what they wanted. They could tell Averioni I abandoned the family, that I was ungrateful, that I proved them. I needed them to be the ones who crossed the line publicly. Now they have. Sunday morning, my father showed up at my house. I was in the garage when his truck pulled into my driveway. Who walked toward me like he was expecting to apologize? That's Stuart. In his mind, everything he does is justified, and anyone who reacts negatively is thief. He started immediately a butho. I was being childish by Noton's wearing my phone. He said he and Mimither had been trying to reach me. He said the ad was meant to be a wake-up call, because they loved me and were worried about my life. Direction, wake-up call. Like publicly humiliate your son in a newspaper read by 40,000 people is tough love parenting. I let him talk. I wanted to hear how he would justify this. Stuart always has Arieson. When he refused to come to my graduation, the reason was I had hurt them by rejecting the family business. When he told relatives I was wasting my life, the reason was he was trying to motivate me. The reason is always Thatha as the victim. After 5 minutes of explaining how the ad was for my benefit, he got to the real point. People had been calling him business contacts, church members, neighbors. They wanted to know what kind of father takes out an ad like that. A few say directly it seemed cruel. Here's where Stuart revealed exactly who he is. He didn't say he regretted it. He said these people were sticking their nose where they didn't belong, and he needed them to call them and explain this was a private family matter and that I was nest-ups. He wanted me to do damage control for him. He wanted me to call people who saw him humiliate me and tell them it was fine. No big deal. Just dad, but I told him no. I said what he did was designed to hurt me publicly but I wasn't going to help him clean up the mess he made with his own reputation. He got angry, said I was always like this, always making things difficult. He brought up Edward. Of course, Edward understood family. Edward worked hard. Edward didn't sit in an office pushing numbers while his father's legacy crumbled. That's when he learned something interesting. My father's cleaning company isn't just struggling, it's in serious trouble. Hello's 2 major contracts in the last 4 months. Without them, he can barrel like over lease payments on his The lease coming up in 6 weeks isn't just a renewal, it's accuracy. If he doesn't renew at favorable terms, he might shut down entirely. Stuart let this slip while ranting. Hesed Edward had offered to absorb the cleaning company into his property management firm, but the terms weren't good enough because Alan wanted too much control. So Stuart is stuck between losing his business or handing it to Alan on Alan's terms. Here's where things get interesting. The landlord is a property investing group I've done accounting work for, not directly for Maine,